So another one of those stories of legends, those mythical forges of Tamrielic lore, something even Mayik can hammer without any problems at all, or he will just hammer thin air that too? Welcome my Elder Scrolls loving, Mayik adoring, cave dwelling, loot hoarding friends to another Elder Scrolls video. I'm your host, Mayik the Hammering Legend Liar, and today we will be going over the legendary Skyforge. This isn't necessarily a lore video, but it also is. It's a theory video, but it also isn't. It's a bit of everything, to be honest. It's me telling you all about the Skyforge and what it probably is, and then we get to talk about some other fan theories and stuff. There's a lot of them. I'll be talking about the ones I like the most though. I think I picked out two, the ones I found entertaining to read at least and make somewhat decent sense. So without further ado, let's dig into this Elder Scrolls video, and remember, if you liked it or enjoyed it in any way, leave a like, and if you didn't, dislike, because you enjoy me anyway. Also, let me know what your theories on the Skyforge are in the comments below. What do you think about it? Anyways, enough of that. Wait, can you hear that? It sounds like hammering. It's Mayik forging you the finest set of yellow robes for your Mayik the Liar build. Isn't he just so nice? So pretty much everybody ever knows what the Skyforge is. If you don't, you probably do one of two things. You don't play Skyrim, or you play Skyrim on Alexa, you sad human being. The Skyforge sits atop one of the highest points in Dragonreach, behind the companion hall of Jorrvaskr, next to the Dragon's Reach castle thing. If you have been to Whiterun at any point ever, you will know about it. Trust me, it's not hard to spot from below. You will see the giant bird overlooking the city. So in terms of game use, you can use the Skyforge a little differently from other forges, but we can talk about that a bit later. So in terms of pure lore, the Skyforge is something very special, something very, very special. It wasn't built alongside Whiterun or anything like that, no, it's actually the reason Whiterun was built there in the first place. As you may all know, Jorrvaskr is the longest standing building in Whiterun. It was founded way back when Ysgramor returned to Skyrim. One of the 500 companions, generals, Jeek of the River, a monstrous standing man who wielded a war axe like a true hero, came across this forge with his settling party and discovered something spectacular about it. The native elves, for some mysterious reason, feared this monument. It's never fully understood why, but something about it scared them, and this to Jeek served as a perfect reason to set up camp and forge weapons here. They built the Jorrvaskr Hall and named it after the boat they sailed over to Skyrim on from Atmora. Fun fact, the roof of Jorrvaskr is even built from the hull of the boat they sailed on. So I guess Jorrvaskr has been sailing Skyrim a very long time, except it doesn't sail cause it's a roof now, and yeah, get over it. So in today's current fort era, Jorland Greymane is the only one who works with this forge. He forges Skyforge steel, which according to everybody is the finest steel you can come across in all of Skyrim. He forges steel for the companions and himself, and just he builds stuff all day every day on his own, though he has no goddamn tanning racks and no damn smelters. How can a forge be ancient and it grinds my gears. But that's not all we know about the forge. There is actually an underforge too, and if you've played through the Companions Guild line, you know what it is. Now it's not as old as the actual forge itself, but the underforge is where the circle come together to talk about various plans and events. The circle being the innermost important members of the companions, and they are actually werewolves too, which is cool. This is where you will actually come to become a werewolf if you choose. Also, it has an emergency exit out of Whiterun if you want to yeet yourself away from Nazim or something. But that's pretty much the most important thing you need to know about the lore. So let's move on to the gameplay side of the Skyforge, which has some cool stuff to it. So the Skyforge is practically the same as any other forge around Skyrim. Honestly, I don't usually use it because compared to other ones, it's not practical. I said it earlier, but there's no tanning rack or smelter, and just why, Bethesda? Just why? But anyway, there is something unique about this forge, but it can only be used to its full advantage once you complete the Companion's questline. Up until that point, it does the exact same thing any other forge does. Iron, steel, jewelry of all all sorts stuff like that. So the extra options the Skyforge will give you are Nordic hero and ancient Nord armor sets that can only be forged here. Unfortunately, there is no way for the player to forge Skyforge steel in this game at all in any way. The only way to get your hands on Skyforge steel is to buy it from Yorland, who is somehow the only one who knows how to do it. You would think making steel at the Skyforge would automatically make Skyforge steel, but I guess you just don't have the magic hands. The extra armors will come up in the Daedric and Draugr sections, so make sure to try them out. They are pretty decent. I don't usually keep them myself, but they can be good. Anything is better than iron armor and everything is better than leather, so get over yourself and become the ancient Nord you are meant to be. Finish up the Companion's quest line and get yourself here to try and collect every armor set in the game, 2 of them being from the Skyforge. So with that said, let's get into a few theories on the Skyforge. I will link them all in the description below to their faithful owners, as well as just give them a check yourself. These forums hold some of the cooler theories about the Elder Scrolls. So let's kick into it, as I have 2 fetching theories to share with you. This first theory comes from Reddit user Taxis Bacata, and it's been one of my favorite ones to read because it's something I discussed with my friends before. So Taxis goes on to say this: "My theory is that it was built as a crematorium by the early shore-allied wandering Elnofi. The bird is a reference to Kynes, whose totem is the hawk, and she is also goddess of the sky. Kyne is also known as the kiss at the end, as she is the goddess that ferries Nords to the afterlife, and we see it being used as the crematorium by the companions at the funeral of Codlac Whitemane. The Underforge was built as a temple to shore and meant to symbolically, oh my god, represent the underworld. The ashes of those cremated would have likely been placed in the Underforge," and end quote. I never did a starting quote, damn. So maybe the Skyforge isn't necessarily a forge, and it dates maybe all the way back as far as the Elnofi, the ancient elves. Maybe it was used for the very reason to cremate ancient Nords and Needs and any Viking type people in the Merethic era and before. Codlac does get cremated at the end of the Companions, and to be cremated on top of the Skyforge is a very particular place instead of just being turned into ashes outside the city or at the Hall of the Dead or whatever. So this must be somewhat true of a theory, as it makes perfect sense. It's the founding stone of Whiterun itself. It seems ancient, Kyne's symbol towers above it, and it belongs to the Nords who enjoy burning everything. So this seems plausible to me. It's nice to see people have their own theories like this because it makes up for the lack of storytelling Bethesda Game Studios did for the Skyforge in Skyrim. This second theory we have, and the final one, I have seen by 2 separate users on 2 different platforms on Google. The first and more simple one I noticed is on the Steam community, and it comes from user EOTL and states, "I just watched some videos from YouTube about the Skyforge and Whiterun when a theory started forming in my head. I believe that the Skyforge might be created by the Altmer or Aldmer because of the eagle on top of it. Most of the elven armors and weapons, which is mostly used by the Altmer and possibly the Aldmer, look like eagles, and the Forge is said to have powerful magic bound to it, with the Altmer and Aldmer being experts in magic. Some things a little misconducted and misconstrued with this theory, but I see what he means by the elves having the eagles. You get the gist. But then there's a second one, the more detailed one, and I took a segment from this one. So over on the Nexus mod forums, we had this one from user El2Ku. Now, 2 facts about it picked up my curiosity: the eagle, and that the Forge regained strength when human remains were burned in it. What beloved elven race liked both eagle symbolism and burning humans? Aelids. The whole elven armor thing is inspired by eagles. Both Oblivion's and Skyrim's elven armors feature golden eagle themes. We also know that the Aelids had a sort of connection with the sky. All their magic delved in it and absorbed magic directly from it. That said, Skyforge could be something just made up by the Companions rather than the original name of the Forge. And finally, we know that Aelids love to kill humans in creative ways. So could the Skyforge be a device made by the Aelids, or at least like-minded Falmer? Since we're up in the north, it could fit pretty well, since it would be completely ironical that after the Companions discovered it, it probably fueled the weapons that in Nord's hands went to wage war against all the elven races in Tamriel, like the White Gold Tower went from being the center of Aelid power to the main symbol of the first human empire. End quote, still no start quote. So what these 2 fan theories have in common, as you can see in here, is the belief that the Skyforge was built or had something to do with the elves, or any one of the old ancient elven races, particularly the Aelids, or maybe the snow elves. One scaves on the idea while the other goes into a bit more detail connecting it with the Aelids or the snow elves. Now we know most of Tamriel was populated by elves, all types at one point before the current times now, and if you have a look at any elven armor in Skyrim, you can see the obvious bird symbols connected to it. Whether or not the forge was built by elves or not, we have no pure evidence, we can only speculate. Also, once Kodlak was cremated and turned into toast, Yorlin says the forge felt much more alive. Oh god. Now, let me add to these theories with my own twist and going off of the second guy's statement and saying that yes, the forge might have actually been created by the elves, and that means the elves were using the ashes of their slain victims to power up the forge, but the current Nords don't realize this, which is what your man said, and I actually think this is super sadistic and technically sounds like it probably is right. And if you're somebody who likes slaying the Thalmor, you're actually slaying them with an ancient power that comes from a segment of their ancestors. So once again, the elves prevail over Tamriel, and Maik is super stupid and he doesn't know how to hammer actual physical things, and I like fan theories because they are neat. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your theories are for this whole thing. Do you think anything about the Skyforge, or is it just a really ancient forge? As always, if you enjoyed, leave a like or comment in the comment section below. Leave your feedback. It really helps out all the time. I do hope you all have a wonderful day, week, month, or year, and I'll see you all next time.